Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. In this webinar, we would be discussing about the latest vacancies that have come up in SSC CGL 2023. As you know, last year also we had a lot of vacancies, more than 20,000 vacancies in SSC CGL. And this year also again, 7,500 vacancies have been announced. And these are tentative vacancies. The number is most likely to improve. We believe this is an election year leading up to the election in 2024. So there would be a lot of vacancies that would be happening. So this session would essentially be focused on how you can prepare for SSC CGL 2023. What is the opportunities and the vacancies pattern that we are seeing, and what is the selection process and the new exam pattern. As you would know that since last year, the exam pattern of SSC has changed, especially in the tier 2. We will be discussing that in detail. What are the new changes that have come about, and how you can expect different questions in different areas. We will also be discussing based on our analysis of last year's paper, and understanding what should be the right tips and strategies that you should focus upon if you want to do well in SSC CGL. As you would know, SSC again is a central government post, so there is a lot of good thing that if you can go through these posts, and you would see there are many lucrative posts that you can vie for, and objective being that you get a good placement. All right, so this session would essentially be focused on SSC CGL 2023. Now, let's look at what are the highlights of this session, what we would be discussing in this session. Opportunities and vacancies that with respect to SSC this year. We would also be discussing the selection process and the new exam pattern. What is the right preparation tips and strategies going forward into this exam? First and foremost, let's understand why a career in government job is required. See, government job is mostly sought because of many reasons, and it is expected that in a government job you would get a lot of good opportunities. Along with that, you would get a good career growth, and also the monetary benefit. So we'll have a look at why a career in government job is so good. See, definitely you can expect a faster career growth. This is one sector where if you do well, then definitely you can climb up the ladder. So you have a good career growth. Yeah, so this what I was talking about. Every possibility to reach the top level in the hierarchy. So you start from central government post. If you do well based on your merit, you get promoted. So you have every chance of reaching the absolute apex of the hierarchy. Obviously, it commands a lot of respect in the society. Any government servant who is doing well is respected, and society looks upon him in a very positive way. Uh, there are instances when we see that at times private jobs are not considered too lucrative, but government job definitely has a lot of command in the society. Major factor towards government job is job security. As you know, if you join in public sector, or if you join government job, then you definitely get a lot of job security. Challenging work environment, so it will challenge you, it will keep you motivated, it would keep you updated with new things. So definitely you can expect a good challenging work environment. And also about job security, like in COVID, we saw a lot of private jobs, people lost a lot of jobs. There are a lot of layoffs right now also happening in private sector, but job security is definitely a very, very big plus when it comes to government jobs. Government being the apex body has the best available technology, so you get to use the best technology that is available. That also enhances your productivity, and also updates you with the new technological advancement. Then obviously there is an opportunity for higher learning. Yeah, so even during the process of recession, where we say there is a lot of economic downturn, we say there are not a lot of jobs in the market in private sector, but still government has remained the strongest recruiting industry. If you would see the pattern, both in bank exams and SSC exams, all through COVID, when most of the industry were laying off, they were asking people to leave, government jobs were always created, and it still remains the strongest recruiting industry. All right, if we look at the recruitment and vacancies in SSC, CGL, CHSL, and CPO, These are the major exams that we will come across, and you would see over the last 3 years the vacancy pattern have increased. Like in 2020, there were a total of 13,294 vacancies, out of which more than 50% were from CGL. CHSL was around 4,800, and CPO was around 1,400. In 2021, CPO created a lot of vacancies, around 25,000 vacancies, and the total number shot up to around 39,000. And if you look at 2022, CGL alone has like 37,409 vacancies tentative. CHSL approximately 4,500, and CPO is around 46,000. So that total comes to around 88,344, which is a humongous number. So there is a lot of scope if you focus on these exams. There is a lot of opportunity for you to go through a government job if you prepare well. If you prepare for CGL, CHSL is definitely easier as compared to CGL. So you definitely get a good shot at CHSL and also CPO. So if you look at the pattern, even in 2023 and 24 going forward, we are expecting the same pattern to continue. There will be a lot of vacancies that will be created in all of these areas, all of these exams. So if you prepare well, definitely you have a chance to make a mark in the government sector. Okay, if we talk about what are the important dates with respect to SSC CGL 2023, see the date of online applications already started from 3rd of April. The notification came on 2nd or 3rd. So the online application started from 3rd of April. It will continue for a month till 3rd of May. So you still have around 20 days around to go for deadline. So we suggest that you go forward and fill the form if you are eligible to write the exam. So you have around 20 days to fill the form still. If you look at the tentative schedule, the dates have not been confirmed, but it will be a computer-based exam for Tier 1. So SSC CGL conducts its exam in Tier 1 and Tier 2. So Tier 1 will be a computer-based exam. It will be sometime in July. So right now we are in April. So definitely you have more than 3 months or around 3 months to prepare well for this exam. If you have already done some preparation, that will come in handy, and you can focus more on Tier 2. And likewise, if you look at the schedule of Tier 2 exam, it has not been announced when it will be conducted, but generally if we see, if it is Tier 1 is conducted in July, we can expect it to be in around September, October. So if you look at, you have around 6 months to be well prepared for Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 would be in around 3 months, Tier 2 would be around in 5-6 months. So definitely there is an opportunity for you and window where you can prepare well. Both of these Tier 1 and Tier 2 exams would be computer-based exam, online exam, like the pattern has been. All right, if we look at SSC CGL various posts, there are a total of 36 positions, and these positions are distributed into various positions like assistant audit officer, assistant account officer. Then you have assistant section officer in IB, Railways, Ministry of External Affairs, Electronics and IT, and other ministries. Then there are assistant in ministries and departments. Then there are inspector, which can be excise inspector, income tax, preventive officer post, narcotics. All of these inspector posts are available. Then you have sub inspector in CBI, narcotics, NIA, divisional accountant post, junior statistical officer post, auditor, accountant, AEO, revenue, senior secretariat assistant, upper division clerk. All of these posts are available for this year's CGL. So total of 36 positions. All right, if we look at the eligibility criteria, who can write this exam and who is who can definitely aim for getting through CGL, what are the education qualification required? If you look at education qualification as on 1st of August 2023, all posts except for assistant audit officer, assistant account officer, and junior statistical officer, you need only to have a bachelor's degree from a recognized university or equivalent, which means in any stream that you may have, it can be a BCom, it can be BA, BSc, any BTech, any stream will do, but it should be from a recognized university. Students who are in the final year of graduation can also apply, but they need to clear their documents. They need to have essential qualification before the date mentioned in the notification. So date mentioned is 1st of August. So if they are into final year and they expect their exam to finish and to get the necessary education qualification by that date, then definitely they can apply. So it's a very good opportunity. It doesn't, discriminate between different streams of graduation, doesn't discriminate between how many marks percentage you've got from different, universities. All you want to do is you have to have a bachelor's degree from a recognized university. Now, if we mentioned that except for assistant audit officer and assistant account officer, this is valid. For assistant audit officer and account officer, because it's a technical post, so definitely you need a bachelor's degree. Along with that, CA or cost and management accountant, or CS or masters in commerce, business studies, MBA finance, or master in business economics is desirable. So what it actually means is they are looking at specialized people. So if you are a MCOM, somebody who has done his masters in commerce or MBA in finance, or anything relating to masters in business economics or chartered accountancy, or CS, company secretary course, then definitely you are eligible for these posts. So these posts specifically require a specific domain knowledge. That is why this discrimination has been done. If you look at junior statistical officer, as the name suggests, it's basically a statistical officer post. So apart from getting a bachelor's degree from any university, you also have to have 60% marks in mathematics in 12th level. So you need to have maths as your one compulsory subject in 12th, and or you can have a bachelor degree in any subject with statistics as one of the subjects. So suppose you have a statistics as one of the subjects, definitely you can apply for this post. So if we can sum it up, education qualification for all posts other than accounts officer and junior statistical officer, anybody can apply. But for these two posts, you need to have a specific domain knowledge that can come from a degree that you possess. If you look at the age criteria, as on 1st of August 2020, that is the deadline date. You need to be between 18 to 32 years. See, this is 18 to 32 years is for the most of the posts, but for specific posts there might be some changes, so you need to check detailed notification for more details. But generally, if you are between 18 to 32 years, you can apply for these posts. All right. If you look at the examination scheme of SSC CGL, Tier 1 is a written exam, which is a computer-based exam. Uh, If you look at Tier 2, that's also a written exam. It is also computer-based, but this Tier 2 would be written only by those who qualify in Tier 1 examination. So somebody who has cleared the cutoff in the Tier 1, only those people are eligible to write Tier 2. Suppose you happen not to clear your cutoffs, then you don't have to write Tier 2. But if you clear the cutoff, you are eligible to write Tier 2 exam. Both of these exams will be computer-based. All right. If we look at SSC CGL Tier 1 examination, common to all categories of posts, what can you expect in Tier 1? So Tier 1 basically has 4 parts, A, B, C, D. If you look at general intelligence and reasoning is 1, general awareness, quantitative aptitude, that's maths, English comprehension, that is your basic grammar, vocabulary, reading comprehension, and active, passive, all of those areas. So if you look at all the 4 sections have equal questions, which is 25 questions each. So total of 100 questions. Every question carries 2 marks. So total of 200 marks. Every part has 50 maximum marks. And you're given 1 hour. 1 hour for general candidate for all the candidates, and 80 minutes for visually handicapped candidates. So 1 hour you have to do 100 questions. So level of question is not too tough. Definitely you can apply, you can easily solve them. At the same time, you have to remember that every question carries 2 marks. So there is total of 4 sections, 25 questions each, and total maximum marks of 200 marks. All right. If we look at Tier 2 examination pattern, so Tier 1 you had 4 sections. Tier 2 is divided into paper 1. Paper 1 will be 2 hours 15 minutes. That will be session 1. And session 1 will include 3 sections: section 1, section 2, and section 3. Section 1 would check your mathematical abilities and reasoning and general intelligence. So basically, since last year, reasoning has been included in the Tier 2. Before that, reasoning was not part of the Tier 2. So they have reduced the number of maths question, quantitative ability questions, and they have brought it down to 30. And there are 30 questions of reasoning and general intelligence as well. So section 1 will have 2 modules. Module 1 is mathematical ability, and module 2 is reasoning and general intelligence, 30 questions each. Total of 180 marks. Every question carries 3 marks. So here in Tier 1 you had 2 marks per question. Here you have 3 marks per question. Section 2 would have English language and comprehension, general awareness, English language and comprehension, like you can see, gets the lion's share of like 45 questions. So 135 marks, 45 into 3, 135 marks are dedicated to English. So you can understand the importance of English. And module 2 is general awareness. General awareness would include your general studies and current affairs. So these are total of 25 questions, and this section 2 comprises of 70 questions of 210 marks. So each of this section is 1 hour each. So 1 hour you get to do your maths and reasoning, 1 hour you get to do your English language and comprehension and general awareness. Section 3 is about computer knowledge. It will have 20 questions. 20 questions, each question is of 3 marks. So um, total of 60 marks, which is 15 minutes, and you will be given 15 minutes for the same, which actually means that computer knowledge question, because they are generally very easy questions, so you're getting 15 minutes for 20 questions, but they also carry equal weightage of 3 marks. So you need to prepare your computer also, because it might happen that you might do well in other section, but if you don't do well in computer, then you're losing out on easy marks. So this session 1 would essentially be 150 questions, total of 2 hours 15 minutes, that is 135 minutes, and total 450 marks are available for you to take. Then session 2 will be 15 minutes. That will be module 2, which is a data entry speed test. You would be given one task to type, and there would be some impressions that you have to make, and 15 minutes would be given for the same. So if you look at the paper 1 pattern, basically you have to prepare your areas like quads, reasoning, English, and general awareness. Along with that, computer is also necessary. All right. If we look at paper 2 pattern, that is statistics, number of question is 100 and 2 marks each question. You are given 120 minutes for that. And paper 3 is general studies, which includes finance and economics. Then again, it also has 100 question and total of 200 marks, and you are given 2 hours for this. Now, paper 2 and paper 3 is not for everybody to write. They are specific to specific post. All right. So if you are a candidate who's not opting for junior statistical officer or assistant accounts officer, then you don't have to write paper 2 and paper 3. Paper 2 and paper 3 are restricted to certain posts, so you don't have to worry if you don't have a background in statistics. So that is, if you're not aiming for those posts, then you don't have to write paper 2 and paper 3. You have to write just tier 2 paper 1. Now some important points regarding CGL. First is that paper 1 and paper 2 and paper 3 of tier 4 uh, will be held in separate shift or days, which means there will be different shifts that will happen, and it it can be on the same day or it can be on different days. Just give me a second. I'm sorry. So paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3 or tier 2 will be held in separate shift or days. Tier 1 of the CGL will be common for all categories of post, which means that everybody has to write for any post that you're opting for. Tier 1 will be very important. All right. Negative marking of, there will be negative marking of 0.5 marks for each wrong answer in tier 1. As you would know, there are maximum of 2 marks is allotted for every right answer. So 25% of that is 0.5 marks for each wrong answer in tier 1. So if you get any wrong answer in tier 1, you get 0.5 negative. Right. And it will be mandatory for candidates to qualify all the section of paper 1. Now this is a very important thing. You cannot go to tier 2 unless you qualify all the sections of paper 1. So all these sections means quants, reasoning, English, and general awareness. You need to qualify all of the 4 sections, then you move to the tier 2. So you have to make sure that tier 1, be careful about clearing the cutoffs. Paper 2, like we said, is only for those who are opting for the post of junior statistical officer. If you're not opting for the post of junior statistical officer, then probably you don't have to apply, write the paper 2. And again, likewise, paper 3 is only for those who are shortlisted in tier 1 for paper 3, that is for the post of assistant account officer or assistant audit officer. So if you are not going for those posts, if you're not eligible for those posts, then you don't have to write paper 3. So generally, assuming if you are opting for all other posts other than junior statistical officer and assistant audit officer or assistant account officer, then you need to write only paper 1 of tier 2. and it will be held on separate shift and separate days, so you don't have to worry about, it is getting too taxing on you or it is getting too difficult for you. They will take care of that. So essentially, if you can sum it up, there is a negative marking, and importantly, you have to be careful in clearing all the section of paper 1 in tier 2. Now, there will be a negative marking for each wrong answer in section 1, section 2, and module 1 of section 3 of paper 1, and of 0.5 marks for each answer in paper 2 and paper 3. See, in tier 1, you have a negative marking of 0.5. In tier 2, when you move to tier 2, paper 1, there will be negative marking of 1 because you are getting maximum marks of 3. All right. So in tier 2, when you think of paper 1, section 2, and module 1 of section 3, there will be negative marking of 1. And for people who are writing paper 2 and paper 3, because the maximum marks are reduced again to 2, that there will be negative marking of 0.5. So paper 2 and paper 3 is only for junior statistical officer and accounts officer, accounts and audit officer. So you have to understand your thought process should be like, in tier 2, when you are attempting paper 1, which is your quants, reasoning, English, general awareness, there will be a negative marking of 1 because you are getting maximum of 3 marks. But paper 2 and paper 3, which is statistics paper and general studies, which includes finance and economics, there will be negative marking of 0.5. Computer knowledge test is mandatory for everybody to write, but it is qualifying in nature, which means if a post requires computer knowledge, then it will be mandatory. Otherwise, it is not. You just have to qualify. Next, the candidates who are qualified in section 1 and section 2 of tier 2 will not be eligible for evaluation for section 3. So suppose if you don't happen to clear section 1 and section 2 of tier 2, then section 3 will not be evaluated. All right, and you will not be considered for further, and that is also right, because if you're not clearing main sections, section 1 and section 2, that includes your quants, reasoning, and general awareness, and your English. If you're not clearing that, then there is no point of evaluating your computer knowledge, right? So you will not be considered for further selection. So you need to clear your section 1 and section 2. Only then you would be going forward for your evaluation will done for the section 3. All right. And importantly, which is a change from the last year, that merit list, the final merit list, that will decide which post you go, which post you get, that will be decided on the based on the performance on the tier 2 exam only. See, over the years, what has happened in SSC is tier 1 marks were carried forward in the tier 2 examination, and merit was prepared based on tier 1, tier 2 performances. But from the last year, it has happened that the overall performance of a candidate in tier 2 examination is considered for the preparation of the merit list. So essentially it has become very similar to banking exam, where prelims is conducted to filter out the candidates. Here tier 1 is conducted to filter out the candidates, and is qualifying in nature. If you qualify tier 1, you move to tier 2, where you have to clear all the sections and at the same time to clear the overall cutoffs. All right, if we move to what can be the preparation tips and strategies for SSC CGL. See, any preparation is good, but you have to realize that if preparation is done in the way where it enhances your chances of selection, then that is the best preparation. And that can vary to every candidate. Every candidate is different. So you have to be, this is what we'll be discussing, the general list of things that you need to do. That is our understanding of what suits the most candidates. But obviously you can, change here there based on your requirement. Now, if you look at the topic wise split up of English comprehension and language, if you look at what are the topic areas that are covered in tier 1, we are talking of tier 1 first. Tier 1, essentially you have 25 questions in English, 2 marks each question, and you have 60 minutes for the 100 question. So in English you would get synonyms, antonyms. If you look at general idea is that you will get like 2 to 3 synonyms, 1 to 2 antonyms. Idioms would be there again in the range of 1 to 3. One word substitute, again 1 or 2 questions. Spellings, 1 or 2 questions. Filling the blanks. These are very easy questions which any student who is prepared well can attempt all of these. 10 around 8 to 10 questions, these will be there. You can attempt easily in 3-4 minutes, because either you know the answer, you don't know the answer, you don't work out on the answer like in quants you do. So this is such an idea of what are the topic areas. Then if you look at the other areas of tier 1 for English, There is error identification, which is essentially grammar, where you have to see which part contains the error. You have to identify that part. So you need to know your grammar rules. You need to know your parts of speeches. You need to know your subject verb agreement, tenses, prepositions, conjunction, all of these parts of speeches. Then there would be best replacement question. Again, 1 to 2 question you can expect from that. Para forming question. Closed test is essentially contextual usage of the word, that is vocabulary. Then there would be some question on active, passive, and direct and indirect speech. So you can expect 2 to 3 questions on active, passive, and direct and indirect. So active, passive, and direct are two topics which are not covered in the banking exams, but these two topics are covered in the SSC exam. So this is generally the pattern for tier 1. Now, if you can summarize the English comprehension for you, vocabulary, very important, very important vocabulary, which is essentially word meanings, synonym, antonym, like we discussed, synonym, antonym, one word substituent and spelling, all of these will be an important integral part. These are easy questions to do, don't take too much time, you mark the answer and move forward. Ideally, you take 5-10 seconds to mark the answer and that's all, even if you have to evaluate the options. But these are the kind of questions that can make or break, because these are the questions which help you to maximize your score. And even if you are struggling a bit in quants where you have to find out answer, or reasoning you have to find out the answer, so logically deduce the answer, these questions can help because these are easy questions. What should not be neglected is close passage. Certainly students are averse to solving close passage, but close passage definitely must not be neglected. Grammar, very important. Again, error identification, like we saw, you can expect some questions from error identification and best replacement and filling the blanks. Filling the blanks again would be based on preposition, conjunction, and tenses. So these are very important. If you know your grammar rules, if you have done your good grammar practice, then definitely you can score well in this. Again, like I said, para jumbled and active passive voice and direct indirect speak will also contribute around 5 to 7 questions. So you cannot neglect those. See, in English, there is no area that you should neglect, because these are important parts and these are questions that can give you a lot of good marks. And obviously, just think from tier 2 pattern. Tier 2 maximum marks are in section 2 of English, that is 45 questions, 135 marks out of 450, which is almost 1/3. So English you cannot neglect. Either you prepare well, then you get prepared for tier 1 as well as tier 2. So you cannot shy away from the fact that I'll not do grammar, or it is difficult to learn vocabulary. That doesn't work out this way, because ultimately you will be tested in tier 1 and tier 2. When tier 2 has lion's share of English. So I think it is very much required that you do a lot of good practice in English. Again, reading comprehension, it has not been asked in the last 2 years, but it should not be neglected. Small passages you can expect. All right. See, when you're thinking of tier 1, how do you plan it? Because you have total of 60 minutes, you have to do 100 questions, and each section has 4 sections. Each section has 25 questions. So you can give 15 minutes. Ideally, I would say I would or be a little more conservative. If there are no RCs, I would say 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes is sufficient. But generally depends on how students are faring in English. But anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes is good time. Start with vocab based question, because these are the easiest to solve. You will get the answers very fast. You can move on, and it will build your confidence, because if you've done your vocabulary well, then you will know the answer. You can deduce from the you can eliminate options from the options, and you can get to the right answer. So you can attempt synonym, antonyms, one word substitute, and spelling to start with. Then moving ahead, you can look at grammar questions. They are generally tricky, but if you have prepared well, then you can identify the error, best replacement, active, passive, and direct in this order. So this is generally a tentative order that we suggest, but generally it is expected that student would do based on his or her comfort areas. But generally we assume that synonym and somebody is prepared well, he or she would know synonym and antonyms well and one word substitute, so they can start with that. After grammar, you can attempt the question on filling the blanks. Post that, you can go for questions which would require any kind of reading or spending some time, like para forming or jumbled question. That should be attempted at last. So easier, again, you should look at where you can maximize your score. You should look from this point of view that questions that are easy to read, easy to answer, you should attempt those first, and then move to the question which are a little lengthier, where you have to spend some time. You have to get the order right of para jumbled question. That should be kept for last. Generally, this is the pattern that we suggest, and this is absolutely different for everyone. But generally, if you see, this should be the right order. If you're looking to prepare well for English comprehension, we can suggest you some references. Definitely, time material is one of the best references that we can offer you, because that material is really updated and it keeps track of all the model questions that have appeared in SSC exam and all the exam, in fact, for bank exam, SSC exam, CAT exam. So you can, so yeah, so grammar booklet provided by time and classroom handouts. So our classroom handouts are definitely equipped with all the errors that have been seen in the last few years. So those questions are based on the pattern of the SSC and bank, obviously. So you can look at those booklet provided by time, study material that time provides, and also at the handouts. Vocabulary also, we suggest we provide a booklet. Again, those words have been researched. Those are the booklet contains those words which have been oftenly asked in SSC, and there is a pattern in SSC that the words get repeated. And also in classroom handouts, we have different ways of presenting vocabulary, like we see in SSC. So again, classroom handouts will be very good. In SSC, we also suggest that you should look at, last year, previous year questions. Previous year questions are very important, because those previous year exam papers give you an idea of your preparation, as well as give you the right framework where your preparation should be based upon. Also, it gives you the difficulty level and the exam pattern, and based on that, you can, strategize your timing for the different. See, one is you that you prepare for all the sections. Other is you strategize in terms of what is the requirement. So if we prepare, let's say, 100, and the exam requires only 70, so previous exam papers gives us an idea where we can, maximize our potential. If you're looking to prepare other than time booklet, then Rajendra Pal and Prem Lata Suri is very good for English grammar. Also, I would suggest SP Bakshi for English grammar. That's also a good book. Student Companion by Wilfred West is also very good. These are some of the books that you can refer. All right, so you can take a note of these books: Rajendra Pal and Prem Lata Suri and Wilfred West, Student Companion. All right, moving on. After English, we look at quantitative aptitude. How is the topic wise split up looking up in tier 1? See, these are basic arithmetic topics to start with. Simple equation, one question approximately. Ratio, proportion, variation, again one question. Percentages, 1 to 2 questions. Profit and loss. You see, there is a lot of similarity between different years. So profit and loss partnership, around 2 to 3 questions. Algebra, you can expect 1 to 3 questions. Numbers, LCM, HCF, all of these 3 to 4 questions. Indices and surds, which is essentially powers and exponents, again one question or no question. Simple interest, compound interest, plane geometry, mensuration, all of these areas are generally you are seeing 2 to 3 questions. All right, so you need to be very, see here previous year questions also paper also help. So somebody says simple equation is not required because only one question will come, but if you look at the pattern, all of these topics would require ultimately you to solve equations. Simple equation is an important part. Same applies to ratio and percentages. These are the feeder topics. These are the topics that you would have good command on, then only you can apply, because profit and loss will require percentage knowledge. Indices, I mean, simple interest, compound interest will require percentage knowledge. So you cannot shy away that these are not important topics. All of these topics are important, and each should be prepared well. Then time and work, again you can expect one question. Time, speed and distance, again 1 to 2 question. Mixture relegation, again it requires percentage knowledge. You can expect 1 or 2 questions. Data interpretation, which is essentially graph, where you have to give you're handling data, you're given some sort of graph in form of pie chart, line graph, bar graph. You have to understand the question. The questions can be based on averages, question can be based on sum, total, difference, or ratios, percentage increase, percentage decrease. So such kind of question. Then trigonometric. So essentially, if we summarize, then topics which have most weightage is geometry, mensuration, data interpretation, trigonometry, and arithmetic. All areas, percentage commands the most questions, but all of these topics will have 1 or 2 questions each. So you cannot afford to neglect any question, any topic. Also, at times students go with this mindset that I'll not do question from this topic, but at times topic which you have prepared well might present you a difficult question, but topic which you know a little about might give you an easy question. So you should not be mentally blocked in terms of that I will not attempt this question. Make sure you go with an open mind, understand the problem and solve it accordingly. All right, if we Yeah, so this is what I was referring to. Important topics, very important topics. Profit and loss, like I said, 3 to 4 questions. Again, expect geometry mensuration, again 3 to 4 5 questions. Numbers, 3 questions. Algebraic expression, 3 questions. Trigonometry, around 3 questions. So geometry mensuration combined would give you around 5 to 6 questions. So these are the important topics. So if you can segregate your preparation between, important topics from arithmetic is profit loss partnership, and other areas are like geometry mensuration, numbers, algebraic expression, and trigonometry. These are the most important topics which all together can give you around, around 15 questions, 15 to 17 questions, which is a humongous number. If you compare, out of 25 you're getting 15 questions from these areas, so definitely these command a lot of respect. Then data interpretation, again 3 to 4 questions. This should be a second priority area. Then important topics which you can expect 1 or 2 questions from each topic are equation, ratio, proportion, simple interest, compound interest. All of these are arithmetic topics. You can expect 1 or 2 questions. So this you should keep in mind while your preparation also. So clearly you can understand profit and loss is important topic, geometry mensuration, and all of these areas. So your preparation should be focused. You cannot afford to neglect very important topics. And if you think that important topics are not required, like the arithmetic topics, then understand this, everyone, that ultimately you will be attempting 15-17 question on. You need to attempt more, so you need to prepare all of these topics. Even if you think that tier 1 I would not be doing so many, but tier 2 again you would be, you're getting these questions, so you have to prepare holistically. Don't neglect. Yeah, so this is what I was saying. Don't neglect any topic. Avoid selective preparation. Selective preparation is for people who are not looking to clear the exam. They're just, filling in the numbers. A serious candidate would definitely not afford to neglect any topic. They'll prepare all the topic well, understand where they are strong and where they are weak, and maximize on the questions where they are strong at. So this should be done. All right, if you look at the strategy for quantitative aptitude, see, again, like we mentioned, English we were giving around 12 to 15 minutes for 25 questions. Here there are 25 questions. You can afford to give 20 minutes because here you have to work out some of the questions. So that will require some time to be done. So you can, we have given some strategies which you can take. Strategy A would be divide 20 minutes into 4 chunks of time, which means 4 parts of 5 minutes each. So 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 parts you have done. 25 question into 4 parts, that is 6 questions per minute. All right, so this strategy is not to answer all, but to not to leave on easy one. So what happens is you have divided in 4 parts your time. So 5 minutes you are attempting 6 questions, 5 minutes 6 questions, 5 minutes 6 questions. So what this gives you is, at times you get stuck in a question. So if we get stuck in a question, we don't happen to look at the easier question which might be lying elsewhere. So this strategy gives you an idea about, 6 questions in 4 sections, 4 parts. So that really gives you a chance to solve easy question first. And if you solve easy question first, you maximize your chance. See, we are not saying that all easy question would be clubbed together. We are saying the easy question would be somewhere in between the difficult one or the moderate ones. So you have to identify. So this strategy gives you an, exposure to all the questions. So you will not miss out. Suppose first 6 questions, 3 are easy. You do 3 questions, move to the next section, right? Then you move to the next section. So likewise you can. What can be the strategy? B, divide not the time but the questions into 3 types. So what you can do is you can divide questions into 3 types. That one is direct formula substitution, one is back substitution, other is shortcut based question. So if you do any strategy, it should be based on your strength areas. So direct formula, you need to know your formulas well, you need to revise your formula. And shortcut are not applicable for all the questions. You have to understand that. But there would be some question that would require shortcut, and that should be done with shortcut. So that we teach in the classroom, that where you have to apply shortcut, where you have to solve it. So even if you have to solve it, you should not take more than 30-45 seconds, 30 seconds or 45 seconds. 1 minute will be too much. I would say 30-35 seconds, 40 seconds as maximum that you can take for a question. And you have to be at the top of your game, because the time is limited. Time is only 20 minutes that you are allotting. So you have to be at the top of your game to solve as many questions as you can. But try and find out the easier question first. That is important. Then type 2 would be more than take. So there would be some questions which are difficult questions that will require more time, where you have to work out more, maybe 1.5 minutes. But they are doable, and you are confident. If you keep, like, let's say, question based on 3 variables and 3 equations, you will be ending up doing it, but it will take some time. It is doable, but again you have to solve it. So pick up such question in the second round. And the third question, the third type of question are where you are confident either you don't know the approach, or you have not seen the question before, or you don't know the area, or even if you try, you will end up solving 3 minutes, 4 minutes, then please avoid such question. It is better not to avoid, because you can definitely maximize in other areas rather than solving and getting stuck on those questions. So you have to be very judicious, and all of this judgment and strategy would happen once you start giving your mocks. Mock test definitely prepares you well according to the exam. So whatever you do and strategize in mocks, whatever plan and thought process you go in with mocks, there you can try and do different things. There you can try different approaches, try different strategies, try different ways of attempting question, because and whatever works for you. This is what I was saying at the start of the session, that every student will have different strength areas. Every student will have, somebody might have strong English, somebody might have strong reasoning and maths. Everybody will be different, so you have to understand that it is your paper ultimately, and it is based on your reaction of how you do the questions. All right, if you look at the topic wise split of reasoning ability for tier 1, these are some of the topics that you can expect. So number and letter series would be around 3 to 4 questions. Analogies, number and letter verbal, 2 to 3 questions. Letter sequence, there would be 1 question. Odd man out, again 1 or 2 question. Coding decoding, again 2 3 question. Blood relation, 1 question. Then there would be some question on missing numbers, Venn diagrams, cubes and dice, counting triangles. All of these topics which we call non-verbal reasoning, you can expect around 3 to 5 questions. Analytical puzzles, there would be around 1 or 2 questions. Non-verbal reasoning like series analogies, what been around 1 question. Figure cutting, embedded figures, images, paper cutting, again 3 to 4 questions. Direction sense, again you can expect 0 to 2 questions. Symbol notations, dictionary, logical order, ranking, word digit formation, 1 or 2 questions. Deductions, 1 question. So what are the important topics? You can just summarize from those notes. See, series analogies, odd man out, coding decoding, directions and symbols and notation. Now these are the most important topics, and these topics don't take much time to attempt. You can definitely attempt maybe coding decoding. If a difficult question comes up, then maybe it will require some time. But other than that, series analogies, directions, and these are easy questions that you can attempt. And you have to prepare them well, because these are the questions which you can expect the most in the exam. Important topics, other than very important topics, are Venn diagrams, analytical puzzle, ranking, missing number, deductions, paper cutting, all of these topics. So this should be prepared well. Now coming to the what should be time allotment for reasoning, like we said that you should spend 10 to 12 minutes for English, 20 minutes for maths. Reasoning should be kept around 15 minutes. 15 minutes should be good enough, because I will not say like English, but very much similar to English, you can solve this question fast. Start with questions which are easier, which are like series, analogies, coding, decoding, and odd man out. These are the maximum question that you will get, and also these are the easier question to attempt. Then move to questions on word formation, dictionary order, board mass, and non-verbal reasoning. Right. So this should be the tentative order. You can definitely mix and match depending on your strength areas, but this is generally a tentative order. Then you can go for questions based on Venn diagram and cubes. If you're not too comfortable, keep it for later stage. Then there are questions on sequence, hidden formula, missing numbers, counting triangles. These are tricky questions. These may require more concentration, more time. They might be more time taking. So please keep them at the last, right? So again, like in English, like in quants, we were saying, attempt easier question first. Focus on what you know. Focus on something that you think this is doable and I can do in less time. That should be attempted. Order should be decided based on your comfortable with nableness with the topic. If you're comfortable with certain topics, definitely you can attempt first. Deductions and critical reasoning not to be ignored, because these are also topics which can be covered in the tier 1, so you should not ignore these topics. For references and preparation, definitely time mock test and booklets, study material that we give out. Again, it is modeled upon the recent SSC papers, so you can definitely refer to time booklet, study material, and also the handout, the class handout that we keep on discussing about. That these are the handout that gives you the real-time question, and mock tests definitely are modeled on the question paper. And for practice, you can refer to any Kiran publication book. Generally, they cover a lot of good material on banking and SSC. So Kiran publication can be recommended for as a backup. And again, like in English, like in maths, we were saying previous SSC CGL exam paper. How this will help? This will give you a real-time idea about the difficulty level, the pattern of the exam, and the flow of the question, in different areas what difficult. See, blood relation, direction, sense questions are easier, but there can be difficult question on blood relation also. So you have to understand what is the kind of level that I can expect. So and prepare accordingly. I'm not saying just prepare according to the simplest level, but also make sure that it is in tune with the exam. There is no fun and there is no objective in preparing difficult when the exam is asking you speed and easier questions. So make sure you are in tune with the requirement of the exam. Most people miss this point. They keep on focusing on difficult things, and that is not the requirement of the game. The game requires you to be you know uh, be absolutely present with the right frame of mind in terms of solving easier question in a certain limit of time. That is important. All right, if you look at general awareness split up for the 25 question in tier 1, then you can expect banking 0 to 2 question, biology covers a lot of questions 1 to 7 question, physics 1 to 6, chemistry. These are general studies areas, your basic sciences up till class 8, 9, 10. So biology you can expect, physics, chemistry you can expect approximately 3 to 4, 5 question from each section. Polity, Indian polity, constitution you can expect some question, computer awareness you can expect, and current affairs. So these are the areas where you can look for around 25 questions. Um, these are the areas. Then if you look at other topics other than these sciences and topics, Indian economy, geography, history, these are the important topics where you see a lot of questions. Then there would be some question on sports, science and technology, literature, medicine, anything that has happened in recent times. Somebody has got an award, some international organization, let's say they ask you about UNESCO or UNO, human science, all of these questions would be covered. So very important topics are physics and chemistry. Science can never be ignored, and science everybody would have studied till 10th. So the only that is being asked. They're not asking you fundamentals of 11th and 12th. They're asking concepts of science, physics, and chemistry. That is 1 to 7 question. History and geography again, based on NCERT material and study which you have already done in your class 10 till your class 10. You can expect 2 to 8 questions. Indian economy again 2 to 8 questions you can expect. So these are very, very important topics: Indian economy, history, geography, and physics and chemistry. Polity and constitution. So these are some of the very, very important: Indian polity, Indian economy, and generally they are asking you static questions. So you have multiple choice, so you can answer easily. But these are some of the very, very important topics for general awareness. If you look at the important topics, then obviously banks, award, banking questions, science and technology, sports, international trade, all of these are important topics. All right, now see, 15 minutes you have spent for English, 20 for maths, and 15 for. So for general awareness, although there are 25 questions, but you can still give around 10 minutes, and that should be good enough, because all you have to do is read the question and answer. And there is no chance of you working it out. You can eliminate some of the option, you can do some back calculation, but generally you know the answer or you don't know the answer, and there is no point in guessing. So how do you do it? Read the complete question and all the choice before marking the answer. See, please read the question carefully, because they might change the year, they might change the you know uh, something they might put in to make it a little tricky. You have to read the question carefully and read all the choices there. Obviously, single liner question should be attempted first. Your effort should be reading less and answering it, so that you can get more time for the next questions. Lengthier but doable questions in the next second round. Guesswork, a big no. I would definitely say no to guesswork, because guesswork would mean you're just taking a fluke, you're taking a blind shot, and that is not required in an exam, because this will nullify all the good work that you have done in other section. So even if you think, oh, all right, how does it matter? I get 5 wrong out of 10. Let's say I guess on 10, I get 5 right. But 5 wrong, why do you want to do that 5 wrong, right? If you know the answer, go for it. If you don't know the answer, please abstain from taking a guess. What should be the how you should prepare for general awareness? If you can cover that. See, Indian economy, like we said, would cover a lot of questions. Indian economy is one of the major important part of SSC tier 1 preparation, and also in tier 2. So basic terms and concept you should know about. What is the capitalist economy, what is the socialist economy, and all of these things. Sectors of Indian economy, what are the agriculture sector, just the manufacturing, tertiary, and services. All of these you should know. Uh, Economy at the eve of independence. What was the situation of the economy at the independent when India got independence? So, that includes your 5-year planning, all of this planning commission, which has now been changed to Niti Aayog. Then, economy in brief from 1950 to 1990, what has happened during that time? What were the economic reforms that happened post 91? So 91, we opened up the economy. So how has that shaped up? Rural development infrastructure, then knowledge about taxation, FDI, FIIs. FII is your foreign institutional investor. FDI is foreign direct investment. You should know information about public finances, BOPs, external internal balance of payments, external internal debt. You should have knowledge on that. Capital market is essentially your share market and all of those forex exchange. Then little bit knowledge on banking basics, inflation, repo rate, reverse repo rate, monetary policy, all of these things, basics, subsidies, poverty, concepts in microeconomics. Microeconomics means relating to firm level or industry level. The concepts like law of demand, supply, production, all of these things you should know basics. If you look at Indian history and culture, what are the important parts you should cover? See, questions are mostly from important personalities and events. Now, history has a lot of important personalities and a lot of events have happened. So you need to be careful about when did, who was Lord Curzon, or, maybe famine of Bengal famine, or maybe, some movement, for example, Indian national struggle and freedom struggle, some movement relating to that. Culture, art, painting, dances, temple, mosque, architecture. So you need to know about that. Ancient civilization like Indus Valley civilization, Mauryan age, you need to know about that. Who are the main leaders, main kings of that era, rulers of that era. Medieval, you can cover, early medieval period, important kings, their literary works, temples, battles, birth of Islam. Delhi Sultanate, all the rulers of Delhi Sultanate, important sultans of Delhi, reforms, autobiographies, policies. Sufi movement and Bhakti movement, again, that is related to cultural aspect, culture development. Regional kingdoms, Vijayanagara and Qutub Shah, Mughal Empire, Marathas. These are medieval period history that you should know. Modern, what is covered in modern? Advent of the Europeans, how the Europeans advanced to, form colonies, British conquest, various parts, including India, Commonwealth, important governor generals, yeah, in context of India, definitely. Revolts and movement, like I was, Jallianwala Bagh, all of these, events that have happened, revolts like Khilafat movement, Quit India movement, all of these social and religious movements by various reformers, national movement and freedom struggle, freedom and partition, all of these are covered in the modern history. If you look at geography, uh, physical geography, that includes your earth origin, interior and structure, what we call as core, mantle, strata, all of these. Plate tectonics, there's a lot of talk of earthquakes these days. So plate tectonic, how does it work? Earthquakes, all of those things. Eclipses, rocks and landforms, how are rocks formed? Sedimentary rock, metamorphic landforms, different like delta. What is a delta? How is delta formed? All of these oceans, you should know about that. Climate composition, structure and types, distribution of oceans, earthquakes, cyclones. So all of these are important from physical geography point of view. Indian geography, specifically referring to Himalayas, Indo-Ganga, Brahmaputra plain, peninsular block, river monsoon, climatic regions, soil patterns in India. So these are very, very important aspects. All of these, forest cover, national parks, water resources, important railway routes. All of these are important. Agriculture seasons, crops and types of farmings. All of these from the geography point of view. Yeah. So if you come to Indian polity, that includes your civics and constitution. So basically, how are president, PM, governor, CM are, how are these elected? Central and state government. What is the kind of hierarchy that we have in local government, panchayat raj, urban local government, constitutional and non-constitutional bodies like election commission, UPSC, CAG, NDC, etc. Then constitutional framework, fundamental rights, articles, all of those things. Which under which article this is happening, or fundamental rights, what are those fundamental duties. Then system of government, what are the major system of government that can include parliamentary, federal, central, state. Miscellaneous topics like anti-defection, preference, provisions to minorities, etc. For suggested reference for different areas of general awareness will be history, Tamil Nadu State Education Board books, class 11th and 12th ebooks, culture, NIOS, National Institute of Open School, online material, geography, NCRT 7 to 12, selected topics which we gave you a list already. Polity, NCRT class 11, economy NCRT, Hindu newspaper and budget. Then you can look at Kiran Prakashan previous papers, competition wizard, Lucent. All of these are generally doing good in general awareness. If you look at sciences, we start with physics. Physics you need to prepare well with basic concept and laws. Um, Newton's laws, Archimedes principles. Basically you have to understand what are the different laws and concepts. Home appliances, the principle involved, what is happening in day-to-day activities which you see, units of various physical quantities, right? Joule, all of those things. Uh, Interrelationship of physics with chemistry, biology, and medicine, branches in scientists. So physicists, who are the important physicists, Nobel Prizes with respect to those physicists, all of these things are important. Again, reference book could be state board books or NCRT book class 6 to 10. 6 to 10, everybody would have read 6 to 10. So physics is not a big deal, it's just that you have to revise what you have learned from 6 to 10. Again, chemistry, again, it's an important part. So chemical composition, various substances used in our daily life. We use a lot of chemicals, so we need to understand about various substances, chemical names and chemical common names like baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, so something like that. Atmospheric phenomena and their relevance to pollution. This is important part because it covers in environment also. Important elements and their role in biology, industry, and biotechnology. Types of drugs, vitamins and their chemical names, acid and alkaloids, branches and scientists. Again, same with chemistry. Nobel prizes in chemistry, people who have been associated with chemistry, and scientists who have been associated. Again, NCRT books 6 to 10 would are recommended. Biology, it is better to prepare botany and zoology together. Nutrition in plant followed by nutrition in animals, respiration, genetics, roles of glands, different kinds of glands that we have. Emphasis on genetic diseases, system of human body and corresponding diseases, deficiency of disease. All of these things, useful plants, animals, the scientific name. And tissue culture, biotechnology, cloning is now happening big time. So NCRT books are recommended. So for tier one, this is general criteria that we see: quantitative 20 minutes, general intelligence 15 minutes, English comprehension 15 minutes, general awareness 10 minutes. You can definitely tweak it, like you can have little more time for quantitative aptitude, maybe 22, 23 minutes, and then English comprehension you can have a little lesser time, depending on how well you do in different areas that you can. So what time offers for SSC CGL 1 year tier one? So we offer exhaustive study material that is absolutely updated with compared to the latest SSC exams. And obviously there are 50 marks, total of 50 marks. 40 are based on tier one pattern and 10 marks are based on tier two pattern. So what happens is tier two paper one pattern, because generally we are offering paper one. Paper two and paper three are specific to junior statistical officer and account officer post, so that we don't offer. 200 plus online mock or practice section. That this is very important. You prepare a section and you want to do well, so you want to prepare those sections through online material. Advice on, so we also at classrooms we give advice in terms of the selection of post. What are the different post criteria you should fill in, so that you have an understanding of which post you are going for. And then material and classes for tier two. So generally we prepare for tier one, and nominal additional fees. People who clear tier one can approach us, and we can definitely offer them material and classes for tier two exam as well. So this is just a summary of the SSC CGL 2023 online course. So like you can see, the pricing is very competitive, and pricing is such to keep that most of the people can afford it. So the only 9,500. In that, number of classes would be around 330 hours, 220 classes. Each class will be 1.5 hours. That is 90 minutes. You will get study material of 9 e-booklets. 18 months will be the validity. So that's a very important part, because you are almost covering 2 sessions, 2 years of CGL preparation. Full length topic wise sectional test would be 100 to full length sectional test will be 100. So you get topic wise sectional test and also full length sectional test. So total more than 200 sectional tests. Then mock test, 45 mock tests, and you get current affairs magazine, 12 issues, ebooks. Again, all of this material is present in ebooks. All right. If we can take up some questions, if you have any questions, you can just put in the chat box, then we can discuss those. All right. Somebody is asking, can I get recorded version of this video? Yes, you can. You have to approach your nearest uh, time center. They can help. Kritika is asking, the topic mentioned here for Indian exams are enough for exams. Yes, if you prepare them well, definitely they are enough for exams, and definitely for these exams, because generally, you don't have to get you have to prepare according to the exam. So SSC generally focuses on these areas. You don't have to prepare like you do in UPSC. So you have to be careful with your preparation, that you prepare specific areas. We have mentioned those areas, and those areas cover most of the question that are there. Can we float between section tier 1? Yes, you can float between section tier 1. You don't have to fix an order. You can float, but you have to be careful with that. You have to attempt the easier question. Do Time have online classes for CGL tier 1? Yes, Sam, we do have offline classes for CGL tier 1. You can approach any nearest time center. They will offer CGL. Definitely, we can have offline courses also. And most of the offline courses are doing really well, where we give a lot of classroom guidance also. Hi, Chandrakant. I don't see your question. Sir, please unmute a couple of doubts. Tane, we can take it up later. I'm sure that we can take up later. Uh, or you can just type it here. I would be more than happy. Chandrakant is saying, sir, is there any sectional cutoff? See, there is no sectional cutoff in tier 1, but tier 2, you have to definitely clear all the sections, right? So you have 3 sections. Section 1, that includes quants and reasoning. Section 2 is English and GA. And that. Kritika is asking, can help to prepare for NABARD exam. Definitely, it can help you to prepare for NABARD exam, but please understand, in NABARD, you have to be careful with some aspect. You have to get deeper into your preparation in NABARD in terms of agriculture and rural development. You have to know more in depth of those schemes and those parts. If you look at the criteria for NABARD, then definitely your aptitude area would be covered. But in general studies and NABARD paper, you have to be careful with your tier 2 exam, where you have to have more in-depth knowledge of these areas. Aptitude part would be covered for NABARD, so that's not an issue. All right, Kritika. Any other questions? All right. Can I purchase the booklet for SSC CGL exam tier 1 from near my time institute? Will they provide, as I'm ex-student of time? Uh, yeah. So if you are put up in see, yeah, sure, Sam, you're most welcome. Sejal, you can definitely purchase the booklet for SSC CGL exam. I think there is a correspondence course also, long distance course. You can ask for either you can approach the center, nearest center, or you can order online also. Definitely, you will get it. Online course, if you take, you get ebooks. And if you want to add study material to it, you can definitely ask it. I'm sure your nearest time center will guide you with that. That's not an issue at all. You can get, even if you don't want to apply for the offline coaching, definitely you can get study material. And the study material is really good because it focuses on the real aspects of CGL which has happened in the recent times. So the questions are prepared accordingly. I hope that answers your question, Sachin. Okay, any other question from anyone coming? All right, somebody is asking, Chandrakant, will you provide this PPT for us for reference? Sure, we can do that. I think you just have to write a mail to the if you're not a student of time, you can approach the nearest time center, or you can ask them, they will provide you this PPT. Else you can write a mail on info at timeforeducation.com and request for the same. I'm sure they can provide you with that. So Tane is asking, I gave 3 to 4 mocks, tier 1 mocks this week. Every score will be around 127. Whether last 1 to 1 suffice for improvisation to clear tier 1. Tane, I would say that if your score is stagnating between 127 and 130, then what you need to do is that you need to focus on the strategy that you are doing. I'm sure it will improve. there is no way that will not improve, because if you're getting that score, definitely it will improve. But you have to be careful. You don't change too much, you don't improvise too much. A little would do, right? So make sure that you focus on your major areas where you are good at, and start maximizing on that. And understand, if you're solving those questions, analyze the mock in terms of how much time you are taking for the question. Even for the question you are doing right, suppose you are doing a profit and loss question in 1.5 minutes, you have to understand that, is there any possibility that I can do it faster? All right, so understand that there might be a shortcut which you might not know of. So that thing you have to work on, these small aspects. Minutest of detailing will help you. See, at times what happens is our score gets stagnating. So to improve that score, not much change is needed. Approach needs to change in terms of identifying the areas where I can improve, because then the change is very slight and will come with a lot of introspection. So that you have to be careful. All right. Sejal is asking, "Our booklet of banking exam will those." Sejal, booklet of banking exam will help. Not saying that will not help, but SSC booklets will definitely be better if you are preparing for SSC. See, in our classroom, we give SSC booklet separately and bank booklet separately, because SSC booklet will have question modeled on the SSC exams. So that will help your preparation more. All right, Sejal. All right, Tane. It's fine. Also, do we have to apply for double AO separately like GSO post? I didn't. All right. So yeah, so separately apply, not separately apply. You have to mark it, and then paper two, paper three, you would have to write. I don't think you have to apply separately. It's just that you have to write as a preference if you are eligible for that. You have to know the eligibility criteria. If you're eligible, that definitely you can. I will have to check whether you have to apply, but I don't think you have to apply separately. That will be covered in your CGL application itself. All you have to see is that eligible आप हो या नहीं, so that you can write the paper two and paper. Checkbox was not there, so I think, yeah. So maybe you have to apply separately. That you have to check. That you can check. All right. Then thank you everyone for attending this session. I hope it helps you. All the best and do well. Thank you.